Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Forex Technical Market Update for Monday, July the 13th, 2015. Okay, I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope you got to do whatever it is that you wanted to do on the weekend. I know sometimes the weekend can be hectic and can be, you may have work or whatever, but I hope that you're able to accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish. And it's also good to have some time to reflect and see where things are going and plan your life, because sometimes life gets in the way and you don't even seem to have the time to plan what you want to do, what your goals are, what you want to accomplish for the rest of the year, etc., etc. It's definitely important that you spend some time, at least each week, reevaluating your goals and seeing what you want to do, for the rest of the year. And what you find is that if you reevaluate those goals every day or even every week, it becomes a part of your psyche and you are more likely to implement them. Okay, so that was a bit of inspiration this morning. Now let's head to the Forex markets to see exactly what's happening. And I'll also speak briefly about what's happening in the stock market. Okay, this is a chart of the US dollar index, and we see that the market did break out of this consolidation pattern, came back down, traded back down to the consolidation, the breakout point, and is currently bouncing this morning off of this trend line. This is a something that happens. This is what's happening in the markets currently, and this is a textbook response. Remember, support, prior resistance often comes support, and that's what's happening. Well, that's what seems to be happening here in the markets. Now, resistance in the US dollar index is up at this previous swing high, just above this $97 level. And if we do close above 97, the next area of resistance is just below 98. And if we close above 98, we're more than likely will challenge this 100 level on the US dollar index. So that's what I'm seeing happening with the US dollar index. To the downside, if we close below this swing low here, this swing candle, we could test this trend line here that has been hit. This is the second time. This is the third time this trend line has been hit, and we could test this trend line again if the market actually does decline. So that's the two situations that are happening, both bullish and bearish. Taking a look at the euro versus the US dollar, similar thing is happening to the euro that happened with the US dollar index. The market broke out of this consolidation pattern and is currently came up, tested the breakout point, and is currently declining. A close below the swing low, these swing lows here at the 108 level will be fairly bearish for the euro, and it could open up the 106 level, and also it could open up the all-time low, which is just above this 104 level. So that's what we're looking for now in the euro currency. But the US dollar looks, if you are choosing a side which direction to go, the US dollar looks to be getting the upper hand against the major currency pairs. Taking a look at the Japanese yen, we see that the market came down, went up, retraced down, and seems to be on its way back up with an intention to test this 124 level and possibly the 126 level for the Japanese yen. On the downside, if we close below this 120 level, that will be fairly bearish. But long-term support in the yen is all the way down at 116. So those are the important levels for the USD Japanese yen. But the US dollar is up against the Japanese yen also, and just to remember, we spoke about the fact that it bounced out of its pivot point, its monthly and weekly pivot point numbers of last week. So this was a trade we called last week, that the market seemed to be bouncing out of this monthly pivot S1 pivot point, and this green line represents the S1. Well, the blue line I'm drawing, but as you can see on this chart, there's a green dotted line. It says monthly S1. The market bounced from this monthly S1 and has accelerated to the upside from that bounce. Looking also at the Canadian dollar, we're rallying in the Canadian dollar. Just to recall, this was in a consolidation pattern. The market is rallying to the upside, and it looks like the market wants to challenge this 128.34 high that was made in the middle of March. So that is the immediate resistance in the Canadian dollar, and we just have to wait to see if the market, if this resistance ever holds or the market trades above the resistance. So this is another example of the US dollar gaining some strength. Australian dollar, we broke out of the consolidation pattern and the market is heading down slightly. So the US dollar is up against the Australian dollar, and support in the Australian dollar currently is at 73.72, and resistance is up at this 76 level with the Australian dollar. Taking a look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar is up against the New Zealand dollar also, and you see a pattern here. The US dollar is almost up across the board, and we have support in the New Zealand dollar at 66.20 and a resistance up at 67.72. And please note, in the New Zealand dollar, this broad downtrend. So if you are choosing a direction to trade in, the direction will be to the downside. Yes, you are at risk that the market may reverse, but I can tell you, when the market is trending downwards, you will have much more success following the flow of the market. If you picture this a river with the water flowing to the downside, which direction will you swim in? If you want to travel the furthest, the quickest, you swim in the direction of the river. If you want to fight the tide and tire yourself, you swim against the tide. And we find a lot of traders try to swim against the tide of the river and end up losing a lot of money. Now, only currency that is bucking the trend slightly is the British pound. The British pound is up slightly on the day at 50. It's currently at 155.37.38. Resistance is up at this 156 level. Let's dig down to the hourly charts or the 4-hour charts. We have resistance up at 156.29 and support is down at this trend line. As you can see, this blue trend line, neckline that has been drawn near this 152 level is our support. Okay, so as I said, it looks like the US dollar is gathering some steam, and we should start to see some movements in the markets. Now, last week we also spoke about the S&P 500 chart, and the market came down. Market was in a channel, or is in a channel, and that's why it's good to look at technical analysis and analyze what's happening in the markets. This was an area of support. 1, 2, market came down. 3, bounced, issued a buy signal, and it's currently on the way back up. So this is a classic way how to trade a channel, and you could have traded the 4-hour chart when you got the buy signal. If you took the first buy signal when the market touched the line here, was here, back here, the market declined again, the support held, and it's on its way up currently. Okay, so we should, as I said before, we should start to see some movements in these currency pairs, and when the market moves, that's when we are likely to make good profits in the markets. So if you want to get involved in the markets, you can click the link below this video to get started. We have a number of people who have gotten started within the last couple of days, and I must congratulate you on signing up for the signals, because this is definitely a very good time to sign up for the signals, where the market should start to move aggressively, and that's where you are more likely to make good profits. So to get involved in the signals and get more information, click the link below this video. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a good day.